Views expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the station, its management, or advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
You are listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Julia Griffin. To master a higher frequency for a new state of mind. Once you walked in a forest of splendor in which everything you did and everything you thought was aligned. It is possible at this time to begin to return to the old knowledge. Intuitive healer and manifestor Julia Griffin is here to talk about this unique time in history when all sentient beings, animals, plants, trees, and the earth are intent on creating this change. The wolves awakened her to the most incredible light, which opened gifts and brought knowledge that she longs to share. You are creators, and you were born to be creators of beauty, possibility, and joy. Join Julia on a journey into a beautiful and magical world where amazing possibilities exist. Let us help open the door. The Power of Inspiration and Awakening with Julia Griffin starts right now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Julia Griffin, and you're listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with us for the next hour, and let us help you experience a higher vibration and a new state of mind. So welcome to the show. Let me tell you what today's show is about. We have a wonderful guest, Cynthia Segal, who will share information on finding happiness, raising your frequency, and moving into a more peaceful state of mind for the holidays. And isn't that what we all want? So let me tell you about Cynthia, and let's get started on going to a place of higher vibrations. Cynthia Segal's client success rate comes from taking the long view. She starts by telling you that you've lived thousands of lifetimes over millions of years. Once you really get that perspective on your life, she says, it helps everything in this lifetime fall into place. Want to know why you're living a repeating pattern? Why you can't find real love? Why financial freedom keeps eluding you? Clean up your past lives. Through a most amazing process, Cynthia leads you into past lives where you get to experience what happened, release the dark energy that's still in your energy field, forgive yourself and everyone else involved then and now, and fill yourself up with love and light. Cynthia is accustomed to hearing people say, I felt such a huge shift in my relationship after just one session. Or no one ever suggested that my pain came from my past lives. So when we make those changes, we can bring happiness in. Cynthia is a world-renowned top-ranked oracle, psychic, and healer. Her clients rely on her to answer their questions about health, wealth, and personal affairs. She communicates with our dearly departed and mentors clients to develop their own psychic skills. Cynthia's clients span 28 countries and are loyal to her brand of honesty, integrity, and never-ending uplifting humor and laughter. So welcome, Cynthia.
Hello. And actually, I know it says 28 countries, but I just got a client from my 30th country, so now I can add Austria to the list.
Oh, that's exciting. And let me just say here, you can find Cynthia at www.cynthiasegal.com. So let's start talking about 2020. And I'm wondering what you tell people who say that they're depressed about this year. Do you have a specific technique for raising the vibration and finding a better place of consciousness?
Yes. So first, I would suggest to everyone listening, and as I do to my clients, to make it okay. So however you're feeling, make it okay, because this has been a very unusual couple of months. And if you're in America, it seems as though it's not ending quickly. And just make it okay. If you're feeling sad, then say, I feel sad. And if you want to cry, and here's a trick, then say, I want to cry, but then say, how long am I going to cry for? So agree upon a number with yourself, like I'm going to cry for 5 minutes. And then cry for 5 minutes, but you will find yourself laughing in less than a minute because you've given yourself permission to feel what you're feeling. And that's the first step to finding happiness. Because when you keep ignoring how you're feeling, it doesn't go away. It just gets more fuel.
So become present and accept how you feel in the present.
Like, I'm pissed off. And then I give you permission to use all your best curse words until you're okay with that. And then I promise, when you make it okay to be how you are and then really get into it, you will start laughing.
And what do you think about all the news about politics and illness? I mean, it's definitely not the most uplifting topic. How do you deal with it when people talk to you about it? Or, let's say you're in a restaurant and someone turns on the television and you're hearing it.
So first is the acknowledgement that everyone in America, and actually I have clients in other countries that are going through what I call PTSD, post-Trump stress syndrome. So just acknowledge that whether you voted for him or whether you didn't vote for him, there's a lot of stress in the air. There's a lot of sort of not sureness, which is not helping anybody find footing at this desperate time when we need to find something we can count on. And so I just say, again, just be okay with how you feel. Like, yes, I'm really angry that he lost, or they won't give him the presidency, or I'm really angry that he won't let go and let Biden in the office. Whatever opinions your ego needs to express, is just acknowledge them, but acknowledge it to yourself. Don't find a group of people and share all your ideas, because I promise you will just get angrier. Instead of releasing it, you all feed into it. So do it on your own. We've been given such a gift with this global stay-at-home order, in that we all have been given the opportunity to go inside and find out who we are and what we really like and what we dislike, and clean out things that have been bothering us and embellish things that we love. This has actually been a most beautiful opportunity for every human on the planet.
There are some really good opportunities with it. I'm going to point out one more thing. You're pretty much saying come back to being yourself and feel who you are. And if you can get quiet and then feel your heart is always like in a happy, neutral place, or it's feeling love. So if you just think about your heart chakra in the center of your chest, it brings you in instead of going outwardly to feel the world, which is what I feel like you're saying.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to put it. Thank you. You're so good with words. You're a gifted word master.
Thank you. Yeah. So you to me, and we talk, and I have lots of people that I talk to, obviously, if you have a radio show and you do other things, but I like your high happiness level. How do you keep yourself there? That must be a really great secret.
I allow myself to get angry. And I pull myself away from the present situation so that I don't verbally throw up on anyone else. And I just, as I described in the process, I allow myself to express it. I tend to go a little overboard. So in other words, I want to clean out every little last remnant of it. So if I'm angry at something, I'll pull myself somewhere where I can yell and shout and scream, and then it dissipates, because it's just the body adjusting to all these crazy energies, and everybody's exploding all over. And I think the key is not to do it in company.
Yes, or to throw that energy at someone else.
Exactly. Or blame someone else for the way you feel, because you feel the way you feel because you feel the way you feel, and it's okay.
And it's passing. I mean, emotions come and go. Just because you feel something doesn't necessarily make it true, but burying what you feel definitely makes it worse, as does throwing it at someone else. So that's an important thing to do.
My secret weapon is actually, it's Bodies of Light. You can download it from my website for free or play it from the website. It's a call and repeat meditation that raises your vibration. And it's so beautiful because you're doing a call and repeat, it's absorbing your ego energy. So your mind is busy focusing on what to repeat that the person is saying, which allows your body to calm down because now it has something to do. So once your body calms down, then the joy can come out and the love and the happiness can return.
Great. So when the mind is busy on something better or when it's turned off, then the body can come into that vibration. And when I'm saying absorbed into something else, obviously it has to be something positive or uplifting.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have all my clients saying bodies of light. It raises your vibration. It can raise your vibration quite high. And in these stressful times, even raising your vibration just a little bit will pull you above the muck that everyone else is experiencing. So you have a choice. You can stay in the muck with everyone else, or you can find a tool. And that's why I suggest Bodies of Light, because a lot of people now are having trouble getting quiet and meditating. So by this call and repeat meditation keeps you engaged so you can't think about anything else. It's such a gift.
And that is one of the gifts of 2020, is that if you want to thrive at all, you've got to get above the muck or the collective consciousness. If you're working to get above the collective consciousness, then obviously you're doing some kind of exercise or some kind of routine or effort to align with your higher self. And that's actually awakening. So this is one of the biggest ways to awaken ever if we use the time and the energy. Okay, so what do you tell people about the groundhog feeling? I'm usually pretty good about it, but I know that if I've worked too much or I haven't slept well, I'll wake up and go, oh, it's Groundhog Day. Everything looks the same. It's going to be the same. I'm like, okay, stop it. That's not true. What do you do about that?
First of all, that's not you. You're tapping into the energies around you. And I actually recommend colloidal silver. Colloidal silver, and you can call me or email me, I'll give you more information, but quickly, colloidal silver creates a field around you that keeps the drains off. So, in other words, energies that are not uplifting won't be able to find you. And that's a beautiful space to be able to breathe and center again and find love. Love is, we need more. Remember the hippie days when everybody was, oh, I love you, I love this, I love everything.
Everything was peace and love, yeah.
Exactly. And we don't have that happening anymore. It's almost been pushed aside as something that's, not something you want to do. You need to be angry at something today. And we need to get back to more love. We need to send more love into Mother Nature and into the universe and into the collective consciousness.
And I just thought of something really fascinating when you said that. I was very young, but it was a very creative time. I mean, clothes were wild looking. There was all this great art, great music. When you meditate on peace and love, you're automatically more creative.
That's true. That's true.
Because those energies merge.
If you're having trouble getting there, then do the Bodies of Light meditation from my website, which is free, and just take a little bit of colloidal silver, a few drops, just to kind of free yourself from all the drains.
Mm-hmm. And then ask yourself, too, if you could be creative, what would you create? Because notice how that opens up the energy. That's like a curious thing. When I say it, I can feel
Beautiful.
that. I hadn't thought of it before, but think about when you're in love, how creative you become.
That's true. That's a great point. And everything is just all sugar-coated when you're in love.
I know. So maybe we all need to meditate on that as well, that the creativity that comes with being in love. So before we go to break, I want to tell you that Cynthia Segal is here. We are working with you to create a higher vibration, to find happiness, in 2020 during the holidays and throughout all of your life, but we're specifically dealing with the energies right now. You can find Cynthia at www.cynthiasegal.com. And when we come back, we'll talk about developing a higher vibration and letting go of patterns and lower feelings. That sounds great to me. So let's go to break and we'll be right back.
Your favorite Transformation Talk radio shows are now on Spotify.
What?
Simply search out your favorite host or show by name, tap the subscribe button, and boom. With over 150 million active monthly users on Spotify, Transformation Talk Radio is thrilled to expand our reach so you never have to miss an episode. Well, what the heck are you waiting for? Log into Spotify and subscribe now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Julia Griffin at OneTrueSelf.com, ONETrueSelf.com, and you're listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening on Transformation Talk Radio, where you can experience a higher vibration and a new state of mind. We're talking with Cynthia Segal. We're going to talk about releasing lower vibrations and finding a positive vibration for holiday 2020. So stay with us. So, Cynthia, what are your thoughts about the best use of time, as it seems like we're going to continue having this time that we have with COVID?
The first thing that comes to mind is give yourself permission to take what I call a no-reason nap, because the stress level is very high on everyone right now, and sometimes you just need to zone out. So, number one, give yourself permission to take a no-reason nap at any time of the day that your schedule permits, so that you can just relax everything. The relaxing part is difficult, and something that you mentioned while we were on break I found interesting is that to do things like with food, for example, that you may not eat it, but you just have it there as a kind of being okay, like it's okay to have this there. So for example, if you want to eat, then I say what I do is I say to myself, yum, what would we like? And when we identify the food, I say, okay, great, we're going to have that, but first let's have a glass of water. And then by the time I finish drinking the water, my mind has wandered to something else and something else and something else and something else, and the food is forgotten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
so
I noticed that, when I have that feeling, I usually want some kind of childish food. Like, I should go to the grocery store and get ice cream. I'm like, really? 30 minutes round trip to go get some ice cream? So, yeah, I know what you're saying.
I have a client that'll do 35 minutes one way to get a cup of coffee.
Wow. So that's not so bad.
It's a stress release. It's, now you have a purpose. You have to drive to get coffee, and that puts them outside in nature, which is beautiful. You mentioned that one time when we were talking, how you like to take the dog and go for a walk.
I have about a half a cup of coffee, and then I go to the park and I'll walk for 20 or 30 minutes, and it just changes the entire day because I remember how beautiful the world is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And plus your body awakens.
Exactly. You get the energy flowing again. It's not all cerebral. We do have to acknowledge the physical being as well.
Well, I certainly agree with you about the nap, I was going to say. I mean, lots of days I will lie down and read if I can't go to sleep.
Oh, that's good too. I've been watching cartoons lately.
That sounds like fun.
There's enough drama in the world. And now that we're moving towards the holidays, there's all these great holiday movies, the romantic comedies that I love so much, that just like treat yourself. You've got the time. We all have the time now. So interesting how we were so busy before and no one had any time. And I think it was very wise of Mother Nature to send us all to our room to rethink how we're living our lives.
I agree. I agree. I don't know when I've had this much time. I think it's been at least 5 or 6 years before this. One of the things that I was thinking about is, many people say they feel isolated, they're tired of the repetition or the Groundhog Day, and they have negative thoughts about the future. So, in one of my classes, I pointed out, people used to go to temples for this experience. If you just throw in a few spiritual exercises in between, you're getting to go to the temple for almost free, if you want to see it that way.
That's true. That's true. It's easier to cope with what's happening if you have a connection to your higher self or a higher power, however you define that, or just prayer, or even just go and worship the trees or hug a tree. That's fantastic. Something that takes you, I want to say, so that you're not always locked in, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So pray. So just to get yourself out of that repeating story. Ask for help. Pull a card from all the multitudes of oracle card decks that we've collected.
I was just thinking too, sometimes some really unusual opportunities or happy ideas come to you when you're meditating. And, to me, it's happened so many times. I know that it's a result of meditating and thinking about a higher power. And that is something that's a little, at least it's exciting. That brings in the unknown. Something different is coming into your home is what I'm saying.
Yes, exactly. Another great thing is to go and buy a little plant so that you're not alone anymore. You have a little smiling, happy plant that desperately needs you to look after it. So
it's also nice to buy flowers on a down week. I notice those help me a lot, to buy flowers. I mean, I must be a wonderful person if I have all these flowers.
I bet they're still alive.
Yes, they're all still alive. She is laughing, and will tell you why. Because with psychics, when their energy is low, the flowers will just go, like almost in no time. They'll absorb your negativity. And if you're in a positive mood, they might live and root within 2 weeks. Like you're just like, gosh, look, they're growing new plants, and the flowers have fallen off. I wonder what I should do with these. So it goes either way. That's why she is asking me if my flowers are alive. But this happens to you. Now you know what's going on.
I bought a beautiful plant called a Persian shield that has green leaves that the new leaves are purple. Beautiful, beautiful color. And I put it on my south window, which faces the city. And it lasted not even 2 weeks. It just could not handle all the drains on the south side. So at first, of course, I thought it was me. And then when I got where it was sitting, so I moved it into the backyard, which is on the north side of the house, and it's flourishing. So it's not you. It's the stress of everyone else stressing out that you're feeling.
Right. So I wondered, you always have, to me, imaginative ideas about happiness. And I wondered what you could recommend for people who are going to have a lonely holiday. I know that that's not easy. What do you think are some good strategies for that?
If you connect to your higher self or your angels or whatever you want to call it, you can never be alone. So if you're feeling alone, it's because you have an expectation of some way that the day has to look. But if you connect to whatever you believe in, your angels or your God, or ask God to come and join you for Thanksgiving, your God, or ask your angels to help you set the table and sing songs with you. You cannot be alone if you're a human. The only reason you're feeling you're alone is that you're comparing yourself. So shut off your social media with all these people posting these fake pictures. Oh, the most beautiful thing is happening lately on Facebook. I've been getting a lot of friend requests from men with names that are like Howard Edel or Morgan Stanley or like that. And they have a picture of a very successful looking white man on it. And then when I go to read their about file, their check-ins are Nigeria or Nicaragua.
Right.
So there's a lot of people taking advantage of people who are believing they're lonely. You're not lonely unless you choose to be lonely. And as I mentioned at the beginning, if you want to be lonely, then say, all right, I'm going to feel really lonely for 5 minutes. What does that feel like? Whoa, boo-hoo, poor me. I'm all alone and nobody, like really get into it. And you'll see it'll pass. It's, as a human being, it's almost impossible to maintain a sad place if you give yourself permission to be sad. It's when you think you should be something else that the sadness goes, wow, I'm getting a lot of attention now. I'm going to hang around.
You're right. I was thinking too, there's a Native American tradition where you fix a plate for your ancestors who've died. And I was thinking we always had Thanksgiving at my grandmother's house. And after she died, the children and I did a plate for her and sang happy birthday to her because her birthday was often on Thanksgiving. And it was just the most wonderful feeling, as though she knew. And that was a nice thing to do.
That's beautiful.
So people don't have to eat alone. They can help people on the other side because they're evolving just as we are, and being remembered gives them love.
Yeah. And in my case, which is not going to really be repeatable for too many people, I spend so much time on the phone helping other people that I look forward to the holidays to be alone, because I know they're going to be with their families and I'll get a few hours off.
Well, it's also quiet energetically for all the people who are intuitives and empaths. The quiet part of it is really a rest if you'll tap into it.
Yeah. So it's beautiful. I don't see a downside to alone unless my ego gets hold of me and starts with this, oh, I'm all alone and I'm bored and there's nothing to do. And God, am I just going to watch TV for hours and nothing's changing? Like you said, the groundhog effect. So just realize that it's not coming from you. It's a product of how people in society are feeling. And I mentioned to one client she is afraid to be an artist, but I can tell she has great painting skills, just magnificent, that she's never explored. So I suggested that she start drawing hearts, like just doodling hearts and different shapes of hearts. And how many different shapes can a heart be? And she's now selling paintings of hearts.
Oh, how wonderful. I can feel those. They feel very good.
So
and then here's a trick with watching movies. For about a month, I told myself I could stream anything I wanted to whenever I wanted to. And I think it took 4.5 weeks. And then I was like, I'll just read. I'm not streaming anything for a while. So that took care of that. But that's what you were saying, is wherever you are, just accept it.
Give yourself permission to be there now. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that completely cured it. So what do you tell people about the uncertainty of 2020? I am always thinking, well, that's how it is anyway in your spiritual life. You're being pulled into a direction, like your client who did the heart pictures and probably never occurred to her it was something she could do. But if we do that, then we're moving more into the spiritual world. So I kind of see there is a better future, but you can only get there spiritually. I'm sure you have some interesting thoughts about it. What do you think?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, to play on that pun again. You can't release yourself until you release yourself. So you have a choice in every moment. You can be sad and explore that, or you can choose again in the next moment. And do you want to be sad again? Okay. Or in the next moment, well, maybe I'll try happy for just 30 seconds, but not too long. I'm going to try happy. And another great exercise is to laugh for no reason. Just set a timer and laugh for 10 seconds. just laugh. That breaks any mood. And number one, you kind of feel silly when you get started, but then the endorphins will kick in and it'll carry itself.
I'll try that one. So we've been talking with Cynthia Segal and laughing about creating happiness in 2020 and how to stay on a higher vibration. These are all about dealing with the lower energies of 2020, but we're going to get there and we're going to keep feeling better. So when we come back, we'll talk more about the subject. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Tune into 3 Things I've Learned with Susan Dolce every first and third Tuesday of the month at noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. Join Susan and her guests as they share the stories that shift our souls about radical transformations, courageous breakthroughs, and life lessons. 3 Things I've Learned with Susan Dolce. For more information, go to transformationtalkradio.com or visit Susan's website at susandolce.com.
Hello, everyone. I'm Julia Griffin at OneTrueSelf.com, ONETrueSelf.com, and you're listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening on Transformation Talk Radio, where you can experience a higher vibration and a new state of mind. We're talking with Cynthia Segal about 2020, creating more happiness, and now we're going to talk a little about what is happening when we're not sure what's going to happen next, and that's much of how 2020 has been. We were saying that our experience has been that as long as you're going into the spiritual, there is an uplifting feeling and you're above that roar of the collective. But it's almost like it's a fork in the road. You know, you can feel and see a better future if you're doing your inner work. And I'm not just saying meditate all day long, by the way. I am saying listen to your intuition. And if you don't, it's like you sort of get swallowed in the wave. So tell us some more about your thoughts with that, Cynthia.
That's the answer I have every time I get asked that question is, did you know what was going to happen in 2017? Did you know what was going to happen in 2018? Like, this year is not different. Unless you're a psychic or an oracle and you can see the future, then you don't know what's happening next. But you have complete control over what's going to happen next. And the simple way to do that is check your mood right now. If you're angry, then the next moment is going to bring angry. If you're happy, then the next moment will bring happy. And believe it or not, we can only live in the now. We can't actually live in tomorrow or next year or next month. So if you make yourself as happy as possible now, then the universe will deliver more happy as possible in the future.
Mm-hmm. And so that's the best way to look at it. I mean, I could see astrologically that something was going to happen to the collective this year, but boy, I didn't expect this. So even if you can see ahead, it doesn't mean that you're going to get a clear picture. I was just going to say it's important to realize that.
I teach clients how to get answers to their questions. And the thing to remember is that you can't think of every question to ask. And it always happens where when the event happens, they'll be like, oh, I didn't think to ask that. Mm-hmm. So just try and make yourself happy. And those are exactly the words. You are the only one who can make you happy or sad. No one else can make you happy or sad. They can show up as a not nice person or, pardon the expression, an asshole or a bully or a loved one or sweet. But your reaction is the only thing you can control. So I always allow people to act out however they need to in the moment and then stay in love myself. I remember one time a friend of mine saying, well, she's really going through a tough time and, you know, you're just sitting there and smiling and being loving is not really what she needs right now. And I said, really? Did you want me to get on the floor and cry with her? Is that going to uplift her?
No, because you're an empath. It's going to enlarge her emotion, whatever it is.
Exactly. So I would rather hold an energy they can grow into.
Mhm. I can see that. And so that might be something we could even all ask for right now, angels of love and the divine universe. Give us a future that we can grow into in a positive way. That actually feels great.
That's beautiful. Yes. And remember, you are the author of your own life. You're the only one who writes stories. And it's all based on your reactions. And you get to choose your reactions. You're in such a powerful place.
Oh, that feels good just to hear it. So I wanted to ask you, because, when I was reading your bio, you're talking about clearing past lifetimes. And, past events and old lifetimes tend to extend into the present and the future. Sometimes those feelings will fade if we just get present, like you said. And, you've told us how to do that. How do you discern if it's a past life memory? I mean, would you have to go and talk with someone like us? Or, I don't know. I'll say it this way.
Okay.
As a child, I was always oddly drawn to books on Egypt and medieval England, which, medieval England is not a happy time. But I had lifetimes there. So, that was a pretty good clue. So do you think that people have clues, and if that negativity is happening, is it best just to go see an empath or an intuitive?
So my knowing, and I'm not going to say belief, but knowing from experience of helping people with this, is that 99.9% of what you're experiencing now is coming from a past life. It's almost like we have no clarity in the moment. And you know how you can tell is when you're in an argument with someone and their reaction seems way over the top, like way out of line for what you were arguing about. That is a past life of theirs rearing its ugly head. So it's easy to pick them out. And if you're not sure yourself and you don't really want to blow up on someone to figure it out, then I would definitely suggest either calling Julia or myself, and we can easily tell you what it is and how many lifetimes ago it was and how to clear it. And let's get rid of, but there's so much happening today that is, I call it a samskara, which is a psychic scar from a past life, a bad past life, which hasn't been cleared with enough light and love and forgiveness. And right now on the planet, there's not enough light and love and forgiveness happening. So everyone is reacting from past life horrors.
Right. And so these feelings, and the strange thing about it is how the other person is reacting and how you're feeling are not necessarily the truth. Sometimes I'll be very attracted to a person that I mainly had negative lives with. Or someone will be a positive person who's coming into my life and I feel skeptical about them. So, this is a place where we can all really use some more help. Because your intuition or how you feel is not absolutely right. It's not right on because it hasn't been cleared. I think that's what I'm saying.
Exactly. And you don't need to struggle with it. You came back reincarnated here again on this lifetime to get rid of those, not to live them again. You've done enough living again. Someone, a client I was just talking to was telling a sad story about someone she knew who died just recently from COVID. And I said, no, they haven't died. They're just reincarnating. And she went, wow, I can handle that.
Yes. And if they're not doing that, they're evolving. And if they cared about you at all, they're probably sending you energy. And that's another thing the Native Americans say. It's always great to have people who love you on the other side because they're helping you every day.
Absolutely. I get the most amazing information from my family.
I know, and it's a soul quality, less so than a personality.
One time I was...
Go ahead.
I was in a session with a client, And I have this chair that I sit on and get all comfy. And I looked over and I have this little stuffed bear that a client gave me. And I find myself lifting up this little bear and walking to the kitchen, and I'm shaking the dust off the back of it, which I guess my cleaning lady obviously doesn't get to the back of that little bear. And I stop myself and I say, what am I doing? I'm in the middle of a session. And I start back to the chair and I hear my mother in my head say, you know, little by little, this place could be a lot cleaner.
Right. Just popped in. Yeah, they do pop in if you're listening. Because this is something that I haven't discussed with anyone to date, so this will be interesting. It occurred to me, you know, so many people have incarnated on the planet at one time. And, you know, you and I know, like ourselves and many other people we know, the older souls are here to hold light and to help people who want to awaken this lifetime. But I was thinking there will be next year, and there have been this year, so many bizarre and unusual astrological aspects. They haven't occurred in centuries. And I thought, you know, I bet these aspects are times when we all work together on group karma and we're clearing the last of it. Or we're working on creating something different this time around. Does that resonate with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The reason we're all here now is to raise each other to a higher vibrational place, not to destroy and bring ourselves down. There's been enough of that in the history of this planet and the galaxy. There's been enough killings.
Yes.
It's
time to make things work. Yeah.
Exactly. It's time to love one another. Seriously, go back to the hippie years.
Mm-hmm. And it's time when these karmic aspects, astrological aspects, come in to do something different with the energy. And then, of course, that brings us back to 2020. You know, are we going to feel badly whenever something's wrong? Or are we going to do something with the energy?
Right.
It's really important.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a whole other thing to get into about your judgment about a situation you see. And whether you call it right or wrong, you don't know all the karma of all the people that are involved to be able to even make a decision on it.
No. We really don't. And so that's another thing that helps a lot, is to say that we're going to turn over our judgment and move into a non-judgmental state, at least for a few minutes.
Exactly. Just make it okay. You can even say, wow, I don't understand this, but I'm just going to take a breath and be okay with it.
Right. And for people who are more intuitive, another good trick is saying, universe, tell me how the other person feels, or show me how they feel. And I'll usually see that, you know, like, let's just say, I think, and it doesn't make it true, that someone put up something that irritates me or that I think is offensive on Facebook. And of course, I'm not going to say anything, but I might keep thinking, I wonder why he keeps putting those things up. I wonder why. But I learned that if I could say, please make me aware of how the other person is feeling, I might say that they're having a terrible day. They just had a fight with their girlfriend. You know, they're angry about something. And as soon as you can feel or know what they're feeling, you're like, oh, yeah, I felt that way before. Okay, I'll drop it.
Yes. Yes. And then there's a beautiful line that brings me such strength from A Course in Miracles. And the line is, people are either expressing love or a cry for help and healing. So if the person in front of you is not expressing love, then send them love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's also simple, but it's easy to forget too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. This is the fun in talking with someone like you. We're bringing up all these little things that are in our memories. So another question I wanted to ask you, you've shared so many wonderful techniques, but I know there are people who are awakening. They know what it feels like when they wake up for a moment. They know what it feels like when they go to class and they're connected with their higher self. But on a day-to-day level, how can they notice that they're connected? So I'm going to give an example. I start going too fast and doing too many things when I'm disconnected. When I'm connected, everything gets still and quiet. I don't notice as much, like the house stops moving and making noise. I feel like I have time to read a chapter in a book and then go back to my work. It's like that kind of shift. So how would you describe it?
So you can know instantly that you're going in the wrong direction if you're not happy. Instantly. If you're not happy, if you're finding something wrong with this moment, that's the wrong direction. Because as Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. So that's such a huge guidepost. If I'm not happy, I'm going in the wrong direction, and it's okay to come to a dead stop and turn around. Dolly Parton said, a dead end is just a good place to turn around. So we don't have to keep banging our heads and, oh my God, the day is going horrible. I still have so much to do and I haven't gotten to this. And now this is happening. That just stop, because you're not doing it from a happy place and it's going to get worse. As I said, if you put out happy, the universe will bring you happy. If you're putting out mayhem, the universe will go, wow, this woman really loves mayhem. We've got lots more we can give her.
Yes, I've had that happen before when I went through periods of focusing on what was wrong, and then the outcome of that was always, well, you know, my life was just fine before all this happened. I think I'm going to go back and imagine things the way they were. And probably all of us have had that experience. I will say, though, as far as going into a higher vibration or happiness, I have a list of things that I do that I know can bring me back into myself. You know, the flowers won't last a lot longer in Georgia, but there are still flowers. I can go pick flowers. Sometimes taking a bath or a shower helps. And, you know, when I tell my students that they must make a list and keep it on their desk or in their date book or in something that they'll see all the time, I'm really serious, because this odd thing happens. You go a day or two in a state of unhappiness, you forget what makes you happy.
Right. And I call that my happy list. And that's homework for everybody who talks to me. You have to come up with at least 10 things that make you happy, and they don't have to be based in reality. So, for example, one of the things on my list is owning a pyramid, which just makes me so happy when I think about that. And right now I don't have room in my backyard for a pyramid, but just the fact that I own a pyramid just transcends the moment for me. So you must, as you said, you must have a list of things that make you happy that you can go to as cheerleading ammo.
Definitely. And the other thing to know about it is that the reason that you might want to do 10 and not 5 is because they do not work consistently. You know, one day ordering things online that I really need, one day having miso soup, which usually makes me feel great. It may work one time and not the next, but if you have 10 things, 1 or 2 things on that list will work.
Yes, and the first one on my list is banana split, so unfortunately that can't be a daily occurrence.
No. That is a fun one, though.
Yeah, just thinking about it makes my mouth water.
And then I wanted to go in a slightly different direction, because I know from, you know, my own personal life, when I hear people talk about who are the real thing, who talk about opening up to the higher self or the universe and how they hear messages, it always helps me. So I wondered if you could tell us a little bit about how you hear messages and how they sound to you.
Okay. They come in a variety of ways. Sometimes I hear a voice or voices, and other times I just have a knowing that that's the right thing to say. And other times I have no idea of what just came out of my mouth, but the other person is very happy with it.
Right. You're channeling in the last instant.
Exactly.
Yeah, I usually see and hear, yeah.
And that's why I'm called an oracle, because things just come through me at someone else's desire, which is such a gift. I love it.
That is a fun one. And then I think for everyone, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so often I'll hear an answer come out of my mouth, and I'll look at the other person and they're sort of in shock. And I'm like, did that help? And they'll say, I didn't ask that out loud. I'm like, oops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think most of the information, most of the things that people want answered in sessions, they don't say. It's beneath the surface.
Exactly.
It's not the
or
question that they're asking. Yeah.
Or I'll hear someone say, well, that question was on my list, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Mm-hmm. Because the universe has its own order.
Exactly. And that's why you come to someone like you or someone like me, is to get answers to the information you don't even know you need to ask. Because we're so wrapped up in the day-to-day not working that sometimes you need someone to see deeper into your soul and give you a hand to lift you back up to love, back up to your heart.
I agree. And sometimes so much of it is just deleting and moving through the vibrations that are surrounding that person so they can get there.
Exactly. And so going to someone who's holding a higher energy, like Julia or myself, will help you lift yourself up. We need someone we can lean on. We're not meant to do it all alone. Oh, so here's something. All those people that think they're going to be alone on the holidays, give us a call and let's do a session.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. You don't have to be by yourself. You can grow and see the more expansive beauty of the world.
Exactly.
Now, one of the things that I have noticed is that when I've been deeply meditating on a deep level, or I'm in a really great place, the future looks really shiny and bright to me. Do you ever see that?
I'm more a now girl.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know the future is going to be amazing, and that wouldn't really come out of my mouth. It's like, if you don't have money, all you think about is money, and if you have money, you don't think about money. So I know my future is going to be incredible, and I'm more concerned about finding the happy path now so that I'll be in the place to accept the future.
Right. And I was going to say that. I can only see it when I'm in really high vibration, so that tells you a lot. It won't even come in unless you're in that place. And so, that's exactly a good reason for all of us to go there.
Yeah.
So,
indeed.
Something that I'm curious about is a whole lot of people seem to feel that they need healing right now. Mm-hmm. And so I wondered if you had a short healing technique that we could share with everyone.
All right. I'm going to sound redundant. Go to my website, download or repeat with the website Bodies of Light. That will lift you up, raise your energy, and allow healings to come into you. Another one that works so great right in the moment is just to repeat, I love me. I love me, 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 I love me. And hold yourself. I love me, I love me, I love me, I love me. Very powerful.
If you get bored with that one, you can change it to, I love myself. I love my body. I love my face. Da-da-da-da-da. I love my mind. You can pick out different parts of yourself. Because let's say we're doing that and your body's feeling pretty good. You can go, but my shoulders are tight. Then you go, I love my shoulders. My shoulders are perfect. I'm sending pink light to my shoulders now. And notice how when I'm saying it, your shoulders will actually relax, because love and light are the two highest vibrations in the universe.
Exactly. Love and light.
And it can be as simple as what we're saying now. I just I love myself, to these more complex ideas like, are we clearing group karma right now? What's happening to us collectively when we all come together in light? Those are abstract questions and they're important. But the really simple things are the ones to remember when you're not having a great day.
Yes.
Because the simple ones work fast.
That's why I like I love me. I used to tell my clients to say I love me's when they're at a red light instead of anything else. And now most people are getting about 2 weeks to the gallon because the car is not moving from the driveway. So now I suggest toilet time. where you just, they're sitting there anyway, and just do, I love me, I love me, I love me, I love me. I love how this body works. Wow, how effective.
And then I wondered if you would comment, because you've written about this and you know I love it, the perfectly imperfect self.
Yes. It doesn't exist. You are perfect. You're perfectly perfect, just the way you are. You don't need any improvement. You're not going in the wrong direction. Things are working out for you. Everything is unfolding perfectly. It's only in judging yourself against someone else that you find an imperfection. So if there was a classroom of elephants and one monkey, and the lesson was to climb trees, 90% of the class would fail because elephants can't climb trees. So that would make them imperfect, but they're not. They're perfect. They're just judging themselves against the monkey.
And there is a shift, when you're talking about that we are perfect. It's like some part of us recognizes it. Yes, there's a divine part of me that's perfect. How wonderful is that? And I think for people who can recognize what we're saying today, it's a pretty good indication that they're here for a reason. And that reason is probably to share light.
And love and forgiveness, as you've been saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, for all you people who are just like, well, I went along with that, some of this I get, some of this I can do. Right. If you're getting even 20% of this, you're here for a reason and we all need you. So try to see that importance within yourself. Yeah, that would be something else that I think.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm glad you brought that up. That's very powerful.
Well, those are some of my favorite things to think about. I love thinking about, there's so many people on the planet, but so many of them came here for a really important reason at this time, and whatever their energy is, whatever they're dreaming up, it's beautiful.
Right, exactly. And practice laughing.
I haven't tried that one, but I will.
Write that into your day timer. I will. I have to laugh for 10 seconds.
So another question I was going to ask you, and this more or less has to do with manifestation. Some people want to move, some people want relationships. And I've noticed that a lot of people will work on these things and then they'll say, oh, it's 2020, nothing's going to happen anyway. How do we get through that block?
You will get exactly what you believe you deserve. So I would move into a deserving place. I deserve to have the love of my life, because I'm such a wonderful person. I'm so amazing, and I have such a hot, sexy body. I'm so beautiful, and I'm clever and witty, and just, you have to be what you want to see.
And I think you have to play up the positive more, because people are so dramatic on our planet about negativity.
Yes.
We have to remember to play up the positive and get excited about it and make it energized.
It's true. It's true. And so all we've really talked about is 1,000 different ways to be happy.
That's it.
And my favorite motto is happily ever now, because there is only now.
I love that. And let me share your website. It's www.cynthiasegal.com. And you can sign up for my weekly newsletter on my website, One True Self, onetrueself.com, and receive tips on the energetic weather and develop on a spiritual level. So I want to thank you for tuning in to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening show, where you can experience a higher vibration and a new state of mind. Please join me on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of every month at 12 noon Eastern, 11 Central, and 9 a.m. Pacific. Have a great week, and I'll see you back here next time.
Thank you for listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Julia Griffin, to master a higher frequency for a new state of mind. Join us next time as Julia takes us deeper into the memory of the moments of light where transcendence and enlightenment emerge. The memory of the jewel of consciousness is always lived within you, to tap into waves of energy and create huge changes by imagining the beauty of the vision and desires that are hidden in the heart. Learn to find your way back to nature, beauty, and your own heart, which holds the secrets of your existence and future. To discover more about Julia's adventures, animal communication, and the teachings she brings to every show, visit onetrueself.com. That's onetrueself.com. That's ONE, trueself.com.